In my first documentary video, I studied in depth 4 Doctor Who stories of the 1960s, focusing, as is my wont, on their incidental music. One of those was Dudley Simpson's 1969 score to The War Games, a story recently returned to our attention in color, with a U. Part of my War Games studies was to document each individual music track and, most intriguingly, account for their various uses in the 10-episode story. As a capitalist aside, my complete track list for both this story and The Invasion is available on Patreon. For context, this lucky American first saw the story in mid-1986, and you bet your Wellington boots I VCR'd it off of PBS. I rewatched it whenever I could. Believe me, its epic length was an attraction. After nearly 40 years of viewing and listening, I knew there was something curious, something disjointed, about Simpson's Roman theme. Roman theme is used 3 times. First is the cliffhanger scene of episode 2. The Doctor, Zoe, and Jamie, together with Lady Jennifer and Lieutenant Carstairs, emerge in their World War I ambulance from the mysterious mist, thankfully on a paved road. They find themselves on an idyllic hillside. The piece is short-lived as our heroes spy an attacking band of, yes, you guessed, Roman soldiers. Will they be able to restart their 1917 ambulance and escape? Of course, Roman theme is reused for the scene's reprise and the resolution of the cliffhanger in episode 3. Here, Carstairs is able to crank the ambulance into action, and they disappear back into the mist just as the Romans arrive. Finally, a brief return to the Roman zone occurs in episode 7, complete with Roman theme music. The Doctor, Jamie, and Carstairs find themselves on a familiar hillside. They quickly realize why it's familiar, because the Romans attack, predictably, as they are on film. The threesome make a swift escape to the safety of BBC Television Centre. Here lies the intrigue.
I wonder.
I compared these 3 iterations of the track, and as I've done before, synced identical portions together. In doing so, I made a thrilling realization. Each episode contains unique musical passages unused in the other 2, but it's all from the same track. So, I've made a continuous, dare I say, complete track. Let me show you.
What are we supposed to be looking at?
Prepare to ignore dialogue and other sounds, keeping your ears peeled for only the music. Reunited for the first time since 1969, here is the as complete as currently possible Roman theme.
What's that? Doctor, what was it?
I don't know, Zoe. Some sort of force field.
Where are we? There's no sign of the war here.
Yes, and the guns have stopped too.
Yes, it's on, Jamie.
Feeling better?
Yes, thank you.
You sure this is the right way, sir?
I don't know.
What's that?
It's rather difficult to tell, isn't it?
I think it is, Doctor. I seem to remember that hill.
This is where we were attacked by the Romans.
Oh, come on!
Stop the engine! Look! Switch off! Switch off!
Good Lord. I'm on film.
Location scenes like these were pre-recorded on film. The edits of these films would be ready to play during the final videotape recording in studio. Music could, theoretically, be composed, recorded, and pre-dubbed to fit these scenes perfectly, as with a feature film. Indeed, post-production provided that facility to entire episodes within a couple of years. For 1960s shows like Doctor Who, where both video and film were used, it just wasn't done like that. According to my scouring of camera scripts, and as long as I read their notations correctly, in practice, 60s directors added music tracks to film live. So, as the film was committed to videotape, a process called telecine, the music was added concurrently, just like scenes in the studio. Directors must have had trial runs to see how the pre-recorded tracks lined up with their filmed scenes. They then edited the music accordingly, maybe even cutting tape in studio on the day. I believe that director David Maloney added music live for the War Games film sequences, including Simpsons' Roman theme. According to my reunification, the original track is 2 minutes 8 seconds. If there are other cuts to the track, that music is never used, so only the written score would confirm its very existence. Assuming we have it all, how did Maloney select the segments for each episode?
I'll explain as we go.
I refer to the first half of the track, about 1 minute 6 seconds, as the pastoral Roman theme.
That's more like it.
Simpson is not the first composer to paint a musical picture of verdant pastures in the countryside. In fact, not only are sheep bleating audibly in the background,
Yes, it's on, Jamie.
but the camera script recently acquired by me refers to halcyon pastoral music. Here, it seems, we are all on the same page. By the way, that this description accompanies a directive for the Grams operator to play this music is a big clue it was added in studio. Out of the first 56 seconds of uncut music, the initial 48 seconds is used only in episode 2. Here we see the fugitives from 1917, puzzled but relieved, try to work out where they are. Having climbed atop a hill with her friends, Zoe, hearing yelling in the distance, turns and indicates a group of people rapidly approaching. We cut to an over-the-shoulder view of the TARDIS crew. It's a Roman battalion! At this point, the music track cuts to about 9 seconds later, and a rising organ flourish signals the beginning of what I call the Attack Roman theme. Not very original, I know. Only the initial 6.5 seconds is used to start, enough time for reaction shots of the three and a quick zoom in on the approaching troops. Just before cutting to the time threesome running down the hill to warn their friends, the track again jumps to about 21 seconds later to the intense staccato brass climax. Most of the rest of the track underscores visual cuts between the approaching Centurions and Carstairs desperately cranking the ambulance's engine, with Lady Jennifer peering fearfully from the driver's seat. The theme music and credits cut the track off with seconds to spare. Roman theme returns for the Episode 3 reprise. The imagery starts with the over-the-shoulder shot, and after reusing the exact footage from Episode 2, the scene continues, resolving the cliffhanger. To his relief, Carstairs cranks up the ambulance, jumps in, and Lady Jennifer reverses the vehicle. It and they disappear back into the mist, leaving the attacking Romans dumbfounded and agape. Though he reused his edited footage, Maloney recut the music, naturally, with all attack. Interestingly, as you can hear when the music is synchronized, Zoe's line in Episode 3 doesn't quite line up with Episode 2. This further confirms my belief that such music was added live in studio. The 21 seconds excised from Episode 2 is restored to Episode 3. That music's gradual crescendo accommodates the extra footage of cliffhanger resolution. Yet, the conclusion of the track was in fact too long for that resolution. Discovering Maloney's solution involved deeper inquiry. The key musical phrase is the climactic one, where the ensemble on E minor, topped by the trumpet on the fifth B natural, fires machine gun-like shots. Sorry for the anachronistic simile. In Episode 2's cliffhanger, we hear a complete 4-bar phrase of these shots. Then the same phrase begins to repeat before the credits roll. In Episode 3, though, there is only one such phrase. It never repeats. So for a time, I assumed Episode 2 contained the end of the track, but cut off. One thing bothered me, though, the sound of the Episode 3 track's ending. That's a true end of a track if I've ever heard one, with all that reverb echoing afterwards, indicating no tape cuts. Thus convinced that this was the true end of the track, I continued on that premise.
Mr. Norris was convinced.
I'm convinced.
But how to prove it?
But how to prove it?
How did I know it was a 4-bar phrase, you may ask?
It's not very difficult, say.
To confirm what occurred, I notated only the rhythm of that portion. Yes, the notation you see here is 5 bars of unequal beats, but I was just guessing when I jotted it down. It works out to 16 beats total, and therefore 4 bars of 4 beats. This was almost certainly how Simpson notated the passage for his musicians. My rhythmic transcription still didn't confirm whether episode 2 or 3 was the true end of the track. The recording itself did. After the phrase's initial 3 long notes, the first machine gun-like segment is heard. When you listen to that complete phrase from episode 2, those first 4 notes don't quite line up. What I mean is, the performers didn't quite get it. So the inaccurate rhythm sounds like, at best, only 3 machine gun notes. When the reiteration comes around, however, they nail it. Like true professionals. This was the vital clue for when listening to the episode 3 track in isolation, the musicians nail that single phrase. This proved to me that Maloney cut to the second, final phrase at that point in the action, and therefore the 6.5 seconds of the first phrase is unique to episode 2. This cut compensated for the overlength of the track and fits the film beautifully. Episode 7's brief return to the Roman zone as the Doctor, Jamie, and Carstairs stroll while referencing their stolen time zones map uses about 17.5 seconds of pastoral. This includes the unique 9 seconds omitted from episode 2. When the attack music begins, it has cut to much later in the track, about 26 seconds later. But something funny is going on here, too.
Come on!
The beginning of this attack clip lacks the horn and clarinet buildup found in episode 3, which leads effectively into the trumpet-led climax. On top of this, the brass is clearly less emphatic when they enter. Is this a different version? Multiple takes of the same track were usually made available, so it seems likely, but I don't know. I don't know!
There is nothing there. You can see nothing.
There's nothing there.
Did Simpson cut these tracks personally? There is precedent for this. Simpson was present for the re-edit of Planet of Giants episodes 3 and 4 into a single episode. No evidence suggests Simpson was so hands-on subsequently, but it seems to me that a very musical ear cut these tracks to Maloney's satisfaction. As a Patreon subscriber suggests, perhaps it was Maloney himself with that talented ear. It's certainly rare to find a track dissected so variably for multiple uses in a Doctor Who story. The complete unedited version is never heard. Well, that's not so rare.
Come on.
Because most of Simpson's soundtracks do not otherwise exist, revelations such as this are fascinating and satisfying for me. I hope they are for you, too. I mentioned that the score alone would reveal if Roman theme was longer than was used in the program. Although I personally cannot prove anything further with the release of the War Games in color, new hints are available. That's because a certain lucky devil has actually seen the existing written score, composer Mark Ayres. His in-color soundtrack includes reworks of tracks used in the original, and also versions of unused tracks. That unused recordings once existed but do not survive is a fact I certainly wasn't aware of when I made Record, Reuse, Recycle. What this proves is that, as I hoped, many and hopefully all scores exist in the BBC Music Library. Even so, unless Ayres brings every 60s story to color, or the library becomes far more open than it currently is, it might be a long time yet before these scores are seen by inquisitive eyes, namely mine.